just coming to you from Crosshaven. I'm sat on one of the benches down here in Crosshaven, and I went into the Centra a couple of minutes ago, about half an hour ago, to buy something. It's a warm day, so I said I'd buy a cold drink. And the three, I'd like to be able to call them young ladies, stood behind the counter, but they're actually, well, I can't use any colourful language where I am, but the one girl looked at me behind the counter as if I was as if the Elephant Man had just walked in. So I told her exactly what I thought of her anyway, and the manager came out to me and he said, "Have you got a problem?" And I said, "I have actually." I said, "One of your staff just treated me in a very disrespectful manner." And I said, "What's more," I said, "she was exceptionally rude." And I said, it's not acceptable. And now, of course, the full story is, that's the highlight version. The full story is, I walk into the Centra. 3 bitches stood behind the counter. That's basically what I'm starting to view all women as now, between Tinder and the way they treat me. They're just bitches. But anyway, that's another misogynistic conversation that I'll get back to some other day. But anyway, and by the way, nobody's born a misogynist. Listen to Andrew Tate. Women push men to limits that men cannot deal with, and ultimately, when men fight back, women play the victim. But effectively, what we have in this world that we live in is a 90-10% rule. Women will bend over backwards for 10% of men, and the other 90% of men, they'll piss all over them. Proverbially piss. If I'd walked in to that Centra over there looking like Chris Hemsworth or David Beckham or some other guy from Home and Away or something like that, they would have smiled, and they would have their attitude would have been totally different. But it was because I walked in to the Centra that their attitude stank. Her face dropped. I mean to say, if looks could kill, I'd have been 7 feet under. Anyway, she then had the audacity, after I'd called her a fucking bitch, which is how she was behaving, so let's face it, she is a fucking bitch and she deserves to be called that. She then had the audacity to complain me to her the owner. So I said to the owner, he came up to me, I was buying a slushie. There, I have the dog with me. I was buying a slushie. I bought it off a lovely young man there, serving in the ice cream parlour there attached to Centra. The difference was night and day between the way that the lad treated me and the way the 3 bitches inside Centra treated me. I wouldn't even dignify them with the term women or with the term people. I mean, if Tinder's taught me anything, it's women are the most shallow creatures on the planet. And they extend it not only to dating, but to day-to-day transactions as well. If I had €1 for every time I walked into a shop and got looked at like that, potentially just because of the way that I look, I'd be a multi-millionaire. Because women are shallow. Anyway, I didn't let it piss me off too much. Her attitude didn't piss me off that much, because that's the way women behave anyway. Not when older women, young girls, I'm talking about women in the eligible, whatever, not all of them, the good majority of them. Anyway, so spoke to the manager, I think Alex was his name, very nice man, and he said to me, have we got a problem? I said, yes, we do actually. I said, I felt like saying one of your bitch staff member treated me like something she just stepped in with her shoe. But I didn't say that because I didn't want to be argumentative with the manager. He'd done nothing wrong. He didn't deserve to be spoken to like a prawn. But I just said, one of your female staff members, I said, in fact all 3 of them were extremely rude. And I said, they made me feel like something they just stepped in. And so, yes, we have got a problem. I walked into that shop with the dog. The dog got a better reception than I did. I have a big problem with that. And I have a big problem with women. And you know what? I'm going to say this, and I'm out in the open. I don't give a shit. Maybe I'm ill. Maybe I've become a raging misogynist. Maybe even I'm an incel. I don't know. But what I do know is this. I don't like them. I don't trust them. I would go as far as to say I hate them. Because if you're not in the top 10% of men, well, if you're in the lower percentile of men, they will shit on you from a great height. They do it subconsciously. They don't even know they're doing it. They just they treat men that they perceive to be ugly or unattractive like shit. But to me, even the most attractive women are unattractive. They're sluts, they're whores, they're tramps. I mean, they're the devil's creation, women. They're the devil's creation. And the girl down in that shop down there just proved it. Proved exactly everything I have to say. And the sooner men realise actually that women are not your buddies, they're not your friends. They're put on this earth for us to procreate with them, but that's it. There's nothing about women that's positive. There's nothing about them that's cerebral, honourable, or dishonourable out of the two sexes. Women are not just the weaker sex, but they are the most disgusting sex. And that little tramp down in that Centra proved my point. I walked in there and she looked at me like she'd stepped in something she'd stepped in crap on the road, on the footpath. And I tell you one thing, that proves everything. I don't need to say any more about it, because I know exactly I've had it happen before, and it will happen again. But the manager was a very nice chap, very amenable. Maybe I went over the top by calling her a fucking bitch, but that's what she is. That's what most women are. I'm not going to lie anymore. I won't lie to myself and I won't lie to you. Andrew Tate is the man who has women summed up perfectly. Not just Andrew Tate. Any man that can see through this opposite sex, they're fucking bullshit. I wouldn't have made this video but for that girl in Centra. So, you can thank that little tramp for this outburst. But it's not really an outburst. I'm sick and tired of the way that women treat men. Apart from all these wonderfully handsome men that they just, oh my god, they'll start drooling from the mouth. They'd do anything for them. The rest of us, we go in only looking for a bit of fucking service, and they still treat us like a piece of shit, you know. Anyway, I'll leave it on that note. But basically, maybe I'm beyond help at this stage. But between Tinder and between the way that women in general treat me, I've had it up to here with these fucking whores.